Hey everyone, my name is Ronak back with another video, and this is the ninth video in our basic NLP playlist. And so far now we have covered very rudimentary stuff with the NLP. So we learned stemming, lemmatization, bag of words, TF, IDF and whatnot. Okay, so we even learned how we can handle the data and also use the naive Bayes in order to do the basic text classification. But there are many limitations when it comes to machine learning. NLP over the period of time has grew to different heights, and for handling such type of data you require something that is more advanced. So we will now proceed with the deep learning. So deep learning has many branches. Okay, so it has the image processing branch, it has sequential models, it has time series. So in order to tackle any NLP problem, we will have to work with something known as sequence models. Okay, so these sequence models hold the sequences of your data. Now what are these sequences? Now let me give you an example. I want to go out. This is a sentence. Okay, so if I pick any single word without knowing the other words, I cannot create an association because a grammar is based solely on the words that are earlier in the sequence. Okay, so when I say I want to go out, and if I only take out and feed it to my network wouldn't be able to classify that, okay, with what kind of words I have to use out. So let me give you a basic example. Okay, I want to go out. This is a sentence. Each and every single word in this sentence is associated with the word that comes earlier. So for handling such a scenario, a neural network cannot read just like humans, okay, but it understands the sequences and the patterns that are between the sentences. The reason is, if I only give a neural network the word out, would it be able to classify? No, because it doesn't know that I want to are the words that are associated in order to create some semantics. Okay, because when a grammar is formed, you will require a very deep understanding of the language, and in such a scenario this is only handled using the sequential model. Now if you have already worked with the deep learning, you might have came across the image processing. So image processing has some very straightforward networks. Okay, so something known as convolutional neural networks, which are very straightforward in the nature. Okay, there is no form of redirection that is being happening in order to return the sequences. Okay, you cannot handle the sequence using the CNNs. So in order to handle the sequence, we use something known as RNNs, okay, which are recurrent neural networks. So in my basic deep learning playlist, I have not covered it so far now. Okay, it actually kind of stopped in the middle. Okay, but I tried to cover some very basic stuff related to image processing. But now, in order to proceed with our NLP playlist, I'll have to teach you some deep learning that is required. Okay, and you don't need to have a very in-depth analysis of the deep learning, but still what I'll do, I'll teach you the basic deep learning that is required for it. So now you are going to learn something known as RNNs, recurrent neural networks, then something known as GRUs, gated recurrent units, then something known as LSTMs. So these are all the kind of networks that are used in order to handle the NLP problems. Since the NLP has grew quite, I would say, bigger, the traditional machine learning algorithm actually stumbles upon some of the limitations. Better understanding of the semantics and everything of that nature is handled very well with the deep learning. And in order to proceed with the deep learning, okay, so this introduction was very much, I would say, necessary, because without knowing the use of the RNN that it is being used for the sequence models or a sequence form of a problem, you cannot actually understand the nature of it. And if I directly teach you the RNN, you won't be able to get a dime. So for such a scenario, what I would suggest you is to first understand the problem, since this is a sequence model and we are working with the sequences. Okay, so if you stumble upon, let's say, the time series data, or let's say this NLP data, okay, which is just basically, I would say, textual data. For such a kind of data which has a sequence, okay, where the past associations are very much important for your future predictions, we will have to use the RNNs. Okay, so RNN is a very, I would say, basic stuff. So I have actually came across one article on the Towards Data Science. Okay, so this is by Javed Nabi, and this is a very good article. Okay, so once I'll walk you through my tutorial, you can actually go and check his article. I'll post the link in the description box, as well as the notebook has the link. Okay, so you can read it. Okay, so he gives you very comprehensive, I would say, outlook towards the neural nets and basically RNNs. Okay, so you will actually come to know the basic of the RNN in in much more depth, I would say. Okay, so because the tutorial I'll have to keep it short, and you can read this article at your own pace. Anyway, so the architecture that you're seeing at the moment might quite seem overwhelming, but I have the solution for you. Okay, so there is also this book for reference. All right, so if I click it over here, I can actually check this book. Okay, so this is a chapter from the book of the sequence modeling recurrent and recursive nets. Okay, so this is very in depth. Okay, if you are someone, I would say, avid reader, okay, so this is really gold for you. All right, so if you like reading, like exploring the equations and whatnot, this is a really great stuff for you. Okay, so this will actually give you an in-depth intuition of the sequence models. Anyway, so the image that you can see on the left is basically an RNN. Okay, and what I would suggest you is first learn this one, then we will explore this one. All right, so the X that you can see over here is an input. So it is a sequence of input with respect to time. All right, because on every single instance it is going to take, for let's say we consider it as for the t1, okay, the time of 1, we consider one segment of the sequence. All right, so it actually gives with the parametric weights as the u to the h. So this h is basically the hidden layer, and this hidden layer has one loop. Okay, so this loop is basically telling us that okay, whatever I learn over here, I will have to use the output of this hidden layer also as an input for the processing. Okay, so like I said, if I move with one word, okay, so let us say my name is Ronak. Okay, so this is a sentence where my is the association for the next word name. So when I proceed, like my input takes the my, processes it with some weights and parameters and passes it to the output, I also require that my for the input when the name comes in. Okay, so that is the thing with the RNNs. And then finally all of these things will club together and a sentence will be formed, so it moves to the end of the sentence. Please bear this in mind that I'll be only speaking with respect to NLP. Okay, I will not teach you anything related to the time series analysis, but if you want to learn time series analysis, the RNNs is a really great thing. Okay, you will have to basically explore the sequence model for the time series analysis. Anyway, and then there is this final layer known as final thing that you see over here as O, which is the output. So this output has the weights of all of the hidden layers. So this is the way it works, and when this entire network is opened, okay, so this is a very, I would say, upper view of the thing, and when you deeply explore the network, this is something that happens. Okay, so here for the time of, let's say, x of t, so what I will have to do when my first word is there, I just consider some blank weights. Okay, because I need some associations. Okay, even though I know my is the first word, I'll require something to say that okay, I am going to hold this particular weight and bias. Okay, so that is the thing. So it takes each and every single word. So let us consider from here. Okay, the input comes over here, it is processed and it moves ahead with the output, but also it is connected to the past outputs. Okay, so the output coming from here, because whenever my, let's say, the first word passes over here, it gets processed at the t-1 time, then it is already passed to the next hidden layer, because when a new word is going to come into picture, it is going to consider that okay, this is the past association of that word, and now I have more deeper semantics. Then I move to the output word, then it again passes that entire sentence. Let's say my name is Rana, so let's say my name is, okay, so we only consider the 3 words. So my goes over here, my, the output of the my is held over here, then my is passed to this hidden layer. So my name comes in, my name, it gets processed, the output is, the sequence is passed, then my name is comes over here for the t+1 time, passes over here, gets valued, stores in the next layer, even though, okay, so the weight has been held, and then we get the final output. So this is the way the RNN works. Okay, so this is recurrent neural network. Okay, so that was a very basic intro, and I think if you read the articles and the book chapter that I have told you, you will get a very, very deeper intuition, and you should do that. Okay, so I cannot basically spoon feed you every single thing. It is better that I teach you, I give you an idea of the way the things work, and then you can proceed on your own. Okay, so that is a better way of learning, because when you actually put some efforts from your side, things will get more clear. Anyway, so there is this forward propagation where the activation function has my bias, my weight, the output of the last hidden layer. That is the reason I've considered t-1 even though the t held is over here. So this is just a, I would say, weight that we consider for the last layer. Okay, so that is the thing we want to say, plus the weights of the current layer. Okay, so here if we see, the activation is counted like, okay, so there is a bias, okay, which has been held. Apart from that, the weights from the W that we get over here from the are basically multiplied with the hidden unit, last hidden unit, and then added to the u of x, okay, u of xt. So this input along with this weight and then is handled over here, output is sent, and this entire sequence is then carry forwarded. So that is the way it works, and inside every hidden layer a tan hyperbolic function is applied. Okay, so tan hyperbolic is one of the activation function that we use. Okay, there is also something known as ReLU, but by default there will be tan hyperbolic. Okay, so non-linearity I will speak of it in the LSTMs anyway. And then the final output that we have is C plus the V of H, that is this V along with the last hidden layer. So this is the way it happens, and the final output is then calculated, that is the y parent, using something known as softmax. Okay, so softmax is one of the basic, I would say, activation functions that gives you the probabilities of all the classes. Okay, so let's say if you have a text that is negative or positive, so you will require the softmax, which will determine the probability of the word being the negative or word being the positive. The higher probability wins. Okay, so that is the thing that happens. Okay, you can also use sigmod if you have binary classification problem, but I would suggest that a softmax goes better. Okay, and you can just apply some conditions on it the way you want. Okay, so you can do something like np.argmax and get the maximum value. Anyway, then there is this backward propagation. Now this is a little bit, I would say, complicated as compared to the CNNs, but not impossible, I would say. Okay, so we actually recompute the weights along with the, let's say, so this is my basically my loss function. Okay, so the del of L, that is my loss, along with the with respect to the del of W. Okay, where I calculate the weights. So this is appended with the alpha, that is my learning rate, and subtracted from my original weight. Okay, so we compute right from the here, we go to each and every single sequence, we calculate the W's till we get to the first W. Okay, not last, I'm sorry, the first W. And this is the equation that we use for the gradients for the outputs. Okay, so this is the way, if you actually see the way it calculates the loss for the outputs, this is the way it does it. Okay, so you have the loss function, you take its derivative with respect to the output layer for a particular iteration, and then it expands. Okay, so this is just an equation for that, and I would definitely recommend you to learn. And here is a reference article. Okay, so this article, I would say, is very, very good. Okay, so this is the softmax function and its derivative. It will give you very, very deep intuition. Okay, so this is basically, I would say, very highly mathematically oriented. Okay, so you are someone who likes to dig into stuff, this is the best thing. Okay, so I would say, I would definitely recommend you to learn this. Anyway, now we will have to move ahead with the implementation. So I'll show you very, very basic implementation. Okay, not, I would say, something complicated, because we are obviously, just like we did for the text classification, we gathered everything that we have learned and we combined it into one thing, and I actually gave you an application. So in a similar fashion, I'll do it for deep learning. You don't have to worry about it. But now, for at this moment, we will have to understand only the basic concept of our RNNs. And for implementing RNNs, I'm going to use something known as TensorFlow. So this is a very, very powerful tool. Okay, so I'm going to use, I would say, a very upper layer. Okay, not I am going to dig into the raw TensorFlow. I am going to use the Keras. So Keras is a library, abstract library that gives you an abstraction layer over the TensorFlow. It operates under TensorFlow. So recently the TensorFlow has absorbed the Keras. So Keras is basically available on its own, but I would suggest to use something known as TensorFlow. So you can install the TensorFlow. Installation is very straightforward, nothing else. Okay, so I just usually do pip install. Okay, so this is the command. Okay, so current stable release for the CPU and GPU. Okay, so you can just copy this thing, and in order to install this, okay, so here I can say exclamation, since we are in a notebook, and I can paste it over here. So it says pip install TensorFlow, and this is going to install TensorFlow, just very standard installation. So it says requirement already satisfied for me because I've already installed it. Now we will start the implementation. So I'll show you a very basic RNN, and for this, so the first thing is first importing the stuff. So I'll say from TensorFlow.keras. So from TensorFlow.keras.layers. Okay, so we are going to require those layers because you have to give it an input layer, as you see in the architecture above. So you will require hidden layer, you will require an input layer, and you will require an output layer. Okay, so we are going to give it those. So here now I'll say from TensorFlow.keras.layers, I'm going to import something known as input. Then I'm going to import something known as the simple RNN. So the simple RNN is for the RNN basically. Okay, and finally we will require something known as dense. So this dense is basically used in order to get the final output. Okay, so I'll show you a very basic example, nothing related to NLP. Okay, just the understanding of the way the RNN works. And the next thing we will have require something known as a model. So from TensorFlow, I would say .keras. I'm going to import the models. Okay, so I think it is dot models. I'm going to import something known as model. Okay, so this is the thing, and this actually takes all of your layers and combines them together. Okay, it packs them. So the first thing I will have to do is declare the input layer. So for input layer, what I'll do is I'll say input layer as a variable, and here I'll say input. Okay, so the thing that I've already imported, and inside this you will have to specify one parameter known as shape, and here you can give it a shape. So I'll say just 28 by 28 for now. Since in the past we have covered a lot of stuff related to the MNIST, we will just keep it very simple. Okay, this is nothing related to NLP. I'm just giving it one simple blank input of the values, okay, which will be considered by our network. Nothing is happening over here, there is no data, nothing. I'm just specifying an input shape. All right, so this is my first thing. So I give it an input layer. Now the next thing is I'll give it a simple RNN. Okay, so here what I'll do, I'll say RNN layer 1, and I'll say simple RNN. And now you will have to specify the hidden units. So you can give any number you want. So what I'll do is I'll say 128, not bad. And it has many parameters. Okay, so I'll talk about those. And here then you will have to say input layer. Why? Because you are actually appending this input layer with the simple RNNs. Okay, so that is the thing. And now here it says return sequences, which is going to be true. Okay, so that is the thing. So return sequences is going to return all the sequences. I think it is by default true, but anyway, we will just type it over there. And now I'll use one dense layer, which is going to be my output. So I can also even call it fully connected layer, but let's say output. And here I'll say dense, and I'll give it 10. Okay, so 10 neurons if we talk about MNIST. I'm again telling you, just take the example of the MNIST into consideration. Don't literally think about MNIST. Okay, so just 28 by 28, which is 784, and it outputs into 10 values, okay, which are from 0 to 9 ranging. And now this dense is actually okay, so this is fine. Okay, so we don't at the moment want any activation function or anything of that nature. So I'm sorry, here you will have to say RNN layer 1. Okay, and it is ready. Okay, so our basic model is ready. Now we will have to wrap that model into one particular model. Okay, so these layers you will take and you will wrap it. So here I'll say model, that is a declaration for my class object, and then I'll say model which was imported above, and here you will first have to give your input layer and you will have to give your output layer, and we have it. Okay, my model is ready, and if I check model.summary, okay, we have our model. So it has around 21,386 total parameters. So this is a very basic example. Okay, you can add one more layer if you want. So here I can say RNN layer 2, and I can say simple RNN, and I can say 256, and I can say again return sequences is equal to true, and here you will have to give it RNN layer 1, and here you will have to say 2. Okay, so that is the thing, and yes, the parameters increased. So this is the way it works. Very simple stuff. And now just a small experimentation, you can pass this output of the RNN directly. Okay, so you will have to say return output, and you can now pass the state of it. So let's say return state is equal to true. Okay, and now I'll comment this out. Okay, so this is the thing. So what I'll do is I'll just pass this simple RNN as the output, and here I can say RNN layer 2, and we have it. Okay, so this is the way we do it, and we have it. Okay, so you can also use a very basic layer of the RNN as the output. Okay, so that output which is generated from your RNN can be also given. Okay, so this is the basic stuff about the RNN. Nothing much more to cover here with the implementation perspective, since we don't have any data set or something of that nature, but we are going to learn that in the near future. Okay, and we will now try to jump from this tutorial to some advanced stuff, and you are going to require the basics of this. You cannot skip on this one. Okay, because this is about the introduction for the deep learning section that is associated with the sequence models. Okay, so you should actually I would say consider this tutorial. Okay, it might be a little bit lengthy, but it is fine, and I hope you might have learned something or the other from this tutorial. And this notebook, this source code, you can find it in the description box, and I'll even put the links of the articles that you could read. Okay, and these are the sources that I've mentioned that I've taken from the article. Okay, so you can just click and check the images. Okay, so this is the thing, and yeah, so this is it for this tutorial. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.